Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another action figure review, and today we'll finally be taking a look at the Cosmic Legions Book 1 Hvalkatar Olek Thaigar Graveting Edition, brought to us by the fine folks over at Horsemen Studios, of course. And Cosmic Legions is kind of a big deal because it is the first year of this line, and this is a figure from the first wave. As of the time I'm recording this, which is the night after Halloween, if you can believe that, so pretty far in advance, if I do say so myself, because we're almost to Thanksgiving as the time this video is being posted. Cosmic Legions Book 2, I think it's Hvalkatar Book 2, is currently shipping from the studio, and hopefully come Legions Con, which at this point was about a week ago now, most people should have them, if not receiving them very, very soon. So fingers crossed this week we'll be taking a look at some of those. I don't have them as the time I'm recording this. I am still currently waiting on Canucks Val, Novian Lean, and the gray alien who's kind of the Obi-Wan Kenobi to this guy. So we'll see how that goes, but until then we do have a few from Wave 1, Book 1, whatever you want to call it, to look at. And we're going to start with the basics. We got Olek Thaigar, the Graveting Edition, the super simple, basic version of this character. The old man actually has the deluxe version, so maybe he'll lend me that for review, but for now, we're going to look at this one, because when it came to Cosmic Legions, not going to lie, I bought ones that would kind of mesh well with Mythic Legions if I did some part swapping. And this guy, you know, he's got the alien head, right? But for the most part, he just looks like a aquatic reptilian character that, with some Mythic Legions armor, would probably fit in quite well. But I got to tell you, after seeing enough of them, I'm kind of hooked on Cosmic. After messing around with some of the ones my dad got and I didn't, particularly Slog, I'm pretty sold on this line, and I want to dive deeper into it. But that's another story for another day. We need to get into the review at hand and take a look at this figure here. So cutting right into the chase, getting into the meat and taters of this review, let's look at his accessories, because this guy comes with a hand pack, essentially. Because not only does he have a pair of grip hands with the correct hinge for gripping weapons, he has a pair of grip hands with the wrong hinge for gripping weapons. But that's okay. It's fine. It's nice to have options. Sometimes you can utilize those. He also has a pair of trigger hands with the correct hinge for holding weapons. Make sure I got the right hands here. I kind of screwed them up as I was going to grab them. And then he also has the wrong hinge for holding weapons, the trigger finger hands. He doesn't come with a blaster of any kind, but he does come with some weapons. He also comes with a couple of open hands here. And the one thing that I forgot, that is conveniently sitting up here. Where'd you go, buddy? There it is. Comes with a hologram of his ship, which has a port, or a plug here, and his gauntlets, as you can see, have little ports. You can bend his arm up like this, plug this in, maybe heat up the port first, but I haven't needed to do that. But I will say these are kind of tricky to port in, because they are a little gummy and they are a little thin, and where you turn them, they don't really want to turn. They want to twist up here instead of at the base, so you gotta hold them at the right spot. But the base is very sharp and pointy and has a tendency to stab me, so not fun. But there you go. There he is with his ship projecting off his wrist there. I think this section is a little long. I think these pieces all around are a little big, at least this one is. So I'm not going to use that on my figure. But you could totally use that on yours if you wanted to. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your toys. I'm just going to tell you not to break them like a schmuck. So, there you go. But that's not all. That's not all this guy comes. If I could center his butt. Gee whiz. He also comes with this super long chain weapon. Which, it's called the something hammer. I can't remember what it's called, but it's this big kind of Morning Star weapon. That's like some Spawn, vintage Spawn level chain right there. Better quality, of course, but it's like just super long and excessive, really. He also comes with this staff weapon here. It's pretty cool. Very simplistic. And then he comes with, I'll leave this out, a combined version of this staff and this hammer weapon here. Now you can't like pop and swap and make this weapon that way. You have to have this piece. Because I noticed with the Cosmic Legions, none of the weapons are like modular, which is very interesting. Because like, with the exception of like, you know, small weapons like daggers and swords and things, a lot of the Mythic Legions weapons you could pop the tops off. I'm surprised they didn't do that here. But it is what it is. I was never going to pop it off in the first place, but it does make things easier to store when you can shrink them down a bit. But that kind of ties into the gray alien who I'm currently waiting on, as the time I'm recording this video, as I mentioned before, because he gives that to this character. So I'm curious what happens to that gray alien. I'm willing to bet $10 he gets cucked out by somebody, but that's just me. But for those of you who ordered this wave direct from Four Horsemen Studios, you got a free gift. I like free gifts. Free gifts are cool. The first one is this cool golden skull head. I believe it's called a Cronin. And if you wanted to, I guess. I don't know if it'll fit on this guy. It ain't gonna look right, I can tell you that, but I don't know if I can pop this on or not. Oh yeah, it pops right on there. So you can give him a golden skull head, I guess, if you wanted to. I believe the Hvalkatar the Mad Legions Con figure comes with a painted one of these, which I would like to have just to put on a mythic figure and have some weird creature skeleton. That'd be kind of cool, but that's just me. That said, I'm happy that that was not a pain in the nuts to put on. Thanks, Four Horsemen. This head, his regular head's actually a little trickier to put on than that one was. But setting him back there. Not only do you get this cool golden skull head, but you also get a key of Hvalkatar, which I still have in the little plastic baggie. So it's mint condition. That said, you can hear that. This thing got some weight to it. It's made out of metal. It's straight up die cast. That's pretty sick. It's got a, I think it's got a loop-de-loop somewhere. So you could put a chain through it if you want and wear it as a necklace. I'm sure lots of people at Legions Con will be wearing these along with their badges. So that's cool. And also, anything I say in regards to Legions Con that sounds kind of naive, to say the least, is because it hasn't happened yet. So take that with a grain of salt. But I imagine people will be wearing those. I imagine people will be rocking some Cosmic tees, some t-shirts, and all around having a good time. I wish I was there. I really do. But it is what it is. Can't afford everything, you know. But taking a closer look at Olek Thaigar here, he is pretty cool looking for a reptilian alien fella. That said, one new thing they did with this guy, you can unplug his back. It's not that easy, by the way. I had it unplugged a little bit because it covers the ports on the back. It covers the back adapter port and the pauldron ports. That said, you still got scales right up on the neck, and those don't come off. So I do kind of wish that this was thinner here, because it does literally look like it's made to fit a piece rather than, oh, you just took this off, you don't need to put anything there if you don't want to. It doesn't remove all the scales. It's not a seamless thing, although I'm not quite sure how they can make it seamless. But I'm sure they'll find a way. But that's as far in as it actually goes. It is a little wobbly. I noticed some of these back adapter plug-in pieces have been a little wobbly. The Okiatos arm adapter was a little wobbly. My Sphexian guys, their back port plug-in thingies are a little wobbly. So take note of that. You might just want to glue it if you don't plan on taking it off. But as far as articulation on this guy goes, because he's got a lot of new parts. In fact, I think other than the upper legs and maybe the ball hinges for the feet, he is all new parts. Oh, and the hips probably. Yeah, the hips are probably reused. And the crotch. Okay. The basic, parts are reused. But a lot of him's new. So the head can look up really well. Looks kind of weird from the side. I think they could have shifted that port forward a bit, and it would look a little less weird. But you do get a lot of up range out of that. Some down. He does tilt side to side quite a bit. Rotates all the way around. That's a really cool head sculpt. Look at that. He's got the war paint going on, because the grave ring in Cosmic Legions, or Cosmerium, I should say, is like an arena, a gladiatorial arena, where inmates in the Hvalkatar prison, hence the book Hvalkatar, are sent to do battle, and this is one of the combatants, this guy right here. And that's why he looks kind of hardcore right now. The suited version still looks hardcore, but he doesn't have the war paint going on. I like the war paint look. I think it's cool. His shoulders can go out to the side about that far. That's not bad. That's a full 90 degrees. They do rotate almost all the way around. Yeah, if you move them out a little bit, they rotate all the way around. He does have a single jointed elbow. That gets you around 90, I would say. A little hindered there. The Mask of the Red Death spoiled us, didn't he? He's got a swivel, also in the elbow, swivel at the gauntlet, as well as the wrist. These hands I have on him have up and down hinges. They work quite well. I will tell you, I don't have any from this wave, and I don't know if the turkey-headed scorpion lady from Wave 2 will have this issue. But the female and or 2.0 figures from Cosmic Legions Wave 1, you gotta heat up the gauntlets to pop the hands out. If you don't do that, you might snap the peg. This guy, on the other hand, no problem. So, be careful, as always. If something doesn't move or doesn't pop out, don't just pull on it like a flippin' psycho. Heat it up, pop it apart if necessary, and then maybe use some soap or something to loosen it up, because you don't want to break these. So that's one thing customer service won't do. They had to help me out with my skull and key, because I got bamboozled with my order. I didn't get one. I checked the box more than once, and yeah, there was no skull or key to be seen. So I had to hit them up about that, but they hooked it up, no problem. Wow, I feel like that's not in there. Hold on. I know I didn't mess this up. Did I mess this up on cam? I know I didn't mess this up. That felt like it went in. That felt like it went in. Alright, there we go. That said, his waist does rotate. Very, very tight. But it also has the belt kind of pinching it. He can't really lean forward and back. Oh, I stand corrected. He can lean forward a bit. You kind of got to work with it. But yeah, you can lean him forward. Alright, he wasn't doing that before. But his waist is, yeah, his waist ain't loose. Alright, I like that. That's good enough. That's good enough. He's leaning forward. It's better than not leaning forward. His hips kick forward and back. A little loose there, but it's not that big a deal. They're staying in. He's got in and out at the hip. And we'll say that's tight. The in and out at the hip. He does have a thigh cut. He's got a hinge in the knee. Which with these, I would think he'd get a little more than 90. There you go. I haven't really posed these guys a lot. You know, Mythics I tend to mess with more, but these Cosmics I haven't really monkeyed with a whole lot. He does have a swivel at the below the knee. Then he has a swivel at the ankle with a hinge and a rocker. I will say, a little bit of looseness on this first wave of Cosmic. A little bit. But not really enough to cause a stink. At least not with this guy. He's very skinny, small. You know, he's average size. He's not a goblin or anything, but I don't feel like I need to replace anything on him to enjoy him any more than I already do. But that said, his hips do kind of flop, don't they? But whatever. I can always replace the crotch if I really need to. I think I have a couple extras somewhere, but I will tell you, these new torsos, pain in the butt to get off without heat. You can't just rip them off like Mythic Legions, so be mindful of that. But that's Olek Thaigar, the Grave Ring, in a nutshell. The first Cosmic Legions figure on the channel, the most basic one. But you know, we can only go up from here, because what we have coming next is a little bit more interesting. But that'll have to wait for tomorrow, because next, of course, in this video, I'm going to take a look at some size comparisons. First up, and just so you get a good idea of what I was talking about earlier, here's good old Olek Thaigar of the Grave Ring, alongside a couple of Mythic Legions figures. We have the Shadow Orc Grunt to the left, and the Templar Relic Guard to the right. And as you can see, even though this is a quote-unquote Cosmic Legions release, you could easily fudge him into Mythic Legions. I don't think he looks too out of place here. Yeah, maybe swap some parts out for some more medieval style armor, but for the most part, I think he works quite well. Not seamlessly maybe, but well enough. Moving these two out of the way here. This of course would not be one of my videos without our two regulars. The Mythic Legions Brother Mandibulus and the infamous 11 Spawn, who I just can't come to replace with that 2-pack Spawn. I don't know, that 2-pack Spawn's awesome, but his cape's kind of big, so to use him for size comparisons would be kind of tricky after a while. But there you go, there's Olek Thaigar alongside those two, just so you see how he stacks up next to a Legion skeleton and, well, a Tidy Mac figure, I guess. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from the articulation limitations I have with this figure, not gonna lie, this pose was a little bit difficult for me to pull off, because I was just trying to figure out how can I move this so it doesn't look stupid. I really like this figure, even though he's not the most popular out of this entire Cosmic Legions Book of Hvalkatar 1, Hvalkatar Book 1, whatever you want to call it 1. because based off what I've heard through the grapevine, courtesy of the late great Marvin Gaye, this guy's not the best seller of the whole wave. In fact, I think he's the worst seller, which is surprising to me because of the customizability. You know, you could easily make this guy into a mythic figure if you want, and last I checked, the customizers were the core audience for these modular action figure lines that the Four Horsemen are bringing to us. So, very interesting there, but at the end of the day, what matters is that I like it, and that I recommend that you check it out, because in my opinion, quote unquote, my opinion, I think it's a really good figure. I don't know, I don't have the other one to compare it to, but I really like this one. I will eventually get that other version, because I'd be stupid not to, but for now, I'm happy with this one. So, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.